What's going on, boys? We are here on my Death Knight on the PTR, looking at the changes going into Shadowlands. Today we're going to be going over the talent changes, the new spells and abilities added baseline to Death Knights with the unpruning, as well as just some general thoughts and changes on the build and spec as a whole. Just a reminder, I do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on Twitch. Link to that is in the description below. It'd be great to have you guys check it out. And one more disclaimer. One, this is a PTR, so everything is subject to change. And two, don't assume that because I say something is fun, it means that it does a lot of damage or it's the best spec. There were some comments on my Havoc Demon Hunter video and some other things where people are assuming that I'm talking about this from a performance element. I'm not. I'm literally just looking at gameplay. I'm jumping in here trying to explore the spec for my own personal preferences and give you guys my thoughts on it. Let's get into it. So going into general changes for Death Knight here, we have Death Coil back for all specs. This is nice. We now have a ranged runic power spender as Frost and Blood. Anti-magic zone is back and it's a 2-minute CD. Places an anti-magic zone for 10 seconds that reduces spell damage taken by party or raid members by 20%. It's going to make Death Knights even more useful in a raid setting. We still have Taunt. Death and Decay is back for all specs also, so Frost Death Knights get Death and Decay. I'm not sure how useful this is going to be as far as damage-wise. We'll wait and see the mathematicians come up with on whether or not using Death and Decay is worth it for the rune. We also have Lichborn. So this causes you to become undead for 10 seconds. This increases your leech and makes you immune to fear, charm, and sleep effects. Also, since you're undead, that interacts with Death Coil. So you can use Death Coil. Normally Death Knights, especially in PvP or in, any setting, they can only heal themselves with Death Strike. Now Death Strike is less expensive than Death Coil, but it requires you to hit the target. This will allow us to heal ourselves more, we're hiding behind a pillar in arena, or we're at a phase of a boss where there's just massive damage going out. We can use that to heal ourselves up. Raise Dead is also back, and it raises a ghoul to fight by your side for a minute. This doesn't hit very hard, but I'm sure it's something that you just want to press on pre-pull anyway. We also have some changes to the Rune Forge system. So for the first time in a really, really long time, we're getting new Rune Forges. I'm not going to go over all of these. I did them all in my Blood DK video. There's going to be a link to that somewhere. But I'm going to go over the ones that have some impact for Frost, or some potential impact for Frost. So we have Rune of Hysteria. This engraves your rune, increases your maximum runic power by 20%, and your attacks have a chance to increase your runic power generation by 20% for 8 seconds. That'll be really strong, especially with the Breath of Sindy build. So look out, Frost Death Knights, we might be using this. So now we have Rune of Unending Thirst. Engrave your weapon with a rune that increases your movement speed by 5%. Additionally, when you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor, you heal for 5% of your maximum health and gain 10% haste and movement speed. What I would like to see out of this is have it also proc the 10% haste and movement speed. We already have Fallen Crusader, which is really strong, and it's 15% strength. If this procced the haste and the movement speed, that would be a very strong combo. Now, I'm not sure how they'd balance that with dual wield versus two-hander, but we'll see. The other thing Death Knights are all getting baseline is Sacrificial Pact. So this sacrifices your ghoul, causing it to explode, to deal shadow damage around it, and also healing you for 25% of your maximum health. So this combo here, these are both on a 2-minute cooldown. You can use your ghoul, and then at the very, very last second, Sac Pact for some extra AoE damage. I'm not sure how much we'll be min-maxing there, but we will see. The changes for Frost Death Knights, as you may notice, is I'm using a two-hander. So a lot of people are very happy about this, changing Frost to be able to use a two-handed weapon or two one-handed weapons. That's pretty awesome. We also have Frostworm's Fury back baseline, so you no longer have to talent into it. They changed Might of the Frozen Wastes, so because to balance two-handers and one-handers, this is what they're trying to add in here. While wielding a two-handed weapon, it increases your obliterate damage by 35%. That makes obliterate hit pretty hard, and increases your chance for your auto attack critical strikes to grant Killing Machine. Everything else is pretty standard and the same for Frost Death Knights. The thing to know is as we level up in Shadowlands, we'll be getting rank 2s and 3s of certain spells. So for Frost Death Knight, we get Obliterate rank 2, which just increases its damage done by 20%. We get Empower Rune Weapon rank 2, which reduces its cooldown by 15 seconds, which is good. And we have Killing Machine, rank 2, which causes your next Obliterate, so the one that you get a Killing Machine proc on, to deal frost damage. I thought this was really awesome because frost damage just penetrates armor, so that'll be great in PvP and also PvE for high armor targets. It's just a general damage buff, and it scales with your mastery, so that's good. Going into the talents here, all of these talents are relatively the same as far as the title goes, but some of them function a little bit differently. So Inexorable Assault is the same. Every 8 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Your Obliterate consumes this to deal additional frost damage. Icy Talons. Runic Power Spending Abilities increases your melee attack speed by 5% for 6 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. And Cold Heart, every 2 seconds, gain a stack. This increases your change of ice damage. The level 25 row, we have Runic Attenuation. Now this has been changed from 3 Runic Power to 5, so now you gain extra Runic Power on auto attack swings. Murderous Efficiency, consuming a Killing Machine, has a 50% chance to grant you 1 rune. And Horn of Winter, the Horn of Winter, gaining 2 runes and generating 25 runic power. This is a nice little resource on a short cooldown. Death's Reach increases the range of Death Grip and causes Death Grip to reset when you kill a enemy that rewards experience or honor. Asphyxiate is still here and is the same. Blinding Sleet now slows when the enemies are blinded also. Avalanche is the same. Casting Howling Blast with Rhyme causes it to do extra damage. Frozen Pulse, when you have fewer than 3 runes, your auto attacks radiate intense cold, inflicting frost damage to all nearby enemies. Now again, I wish this maybe did more damage if you're using a two-hander because you're attacking slower, but maybe that's just something you just incorporate into your build as a Frost DK. Hey, I'm going to be a two-handed Frost, so maybe Frozen Pulse isn't for me because I'm swinging so slow. Frost Scythe is still here, still 1 rune, still hits like a truck when it crits. Permafrost, your auto attack damage grants you an absorb shield equal to 40% of the damage dealt. Wraithwalk is still here on a 1-minute cooldown. We have Death Pact, heals you for 50% of your maximum health, but absorbs incoming healing equal to 30% of your maximum health for 15 seconds. Level 45 row, we still have Gathering Storm. Each rune spent during Remorseless Winter increases its damage by 10% and extends its duration by 5 seconds. Hypothermic Presence. Now this is a new talent, and it's pretty sweet, and it reduces the runic power cost of your abilities. So Frost Strike, even though it doesn't show it on the tooltip, it's consuming less runic power than it did. And it doesn't last terribly long, but for a situation where you're trying to dump runic power, to really pump out some extra frost damage there, I think that's an excellent cooldown. What I would like to see maybe is this on a different talent row than Glacial Advance, and maybe have Glacial Advance not have a cooldown. It would be awesome if Frost had a AoE runic power spender. Another thing to think about is Hypothermic Presence works with Death Coil. So you can use this to have a lot higher Death Coil spam during your Lich Board window, so you can heal yourself up to full with this. Glacial Advance is our AoE runic power spender, but it has a cooldown. I wish it didn't. It would feel a lot better if we had the ability to make a choice between single target and AoE. The animation's kind of silly too. I mean, 5 seconds isn't that long of a cooldown, but still, being able to build it up and spam AoE that way, I think would be more interesting. And then the level 50 row, Ice Cap has been changed. Frost Strike and Obliterate crits now reduce the remaining cooldown of Pillar of Frost by 4 seconds. This is up from 3. Additionally, Obliteration is here. While Pillar of Frost is active, Frost Strike, Glacial Advance, and Howling Blast always grant Killing Machine and have a 30% chance to generate a rune. And Breath of Sindy. So I'm not a big fan of the Breath of Sindy playstyle. I have a feeling that this is going to be the way to play with dual wielding, and I'm not really a huge fan of that. Hopefully they tune it so Frost Death Knights have a choice and do similar damage, but we'll see. Again, all damage numbers are subject to change. This could be the worst or it could be the best, depending on what Blizzard decides to do with things. I'm overall really happy that Two-Handed Frost is back. Not because it's a two-hander, but because the Obliterate playstyle is back. I'm not a big fan of Horn of Winter, and I miss Frost from the Wrath and the Cataclysm days where it was about these big chunky Obliterate crits. And yeah, you had some passive cleave damage here and there, but the main thing was about using those killing machines and making sure you had runes and just managing things that way. I really have always enjoyed that playstyle. It feels meaty and fast and smooth, and it still has that here. And with the addition of having Frostworm's Fury baseline to be able to have some on-demand burst AoE, It's a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying this. I played a couple dungeons here, and it's a blast to play, and it makes me miss my Frost Death Knight from a long time ago. Overall, I would say the changes to Frost are not insane. There's nothing groundbreaking here. So if you love Frost Death Knight right now, you're probably going to love it in Shadowlands. For me, it opens up the possibility of playing it because two-handed Frost with the Obliterate playstyle is my preferred method. I went away from Frost Death Knight when Breath of Sindy started becoming meta. It's just not fun having all of your damage revolve around this cooldown and keeping your runic power up. That doesn't feel like a Frost DK to me, but again, that's my own personal bias. What I would like to see is a few changes to, or maybe some explanation of how these things work and scale with two-handed Frost versus dual-wielding Frost. That would be good to know. Maybe they have a 15% chance with dual-wielded weapons and a 35% chance with a two-handed weapon. It would be nice to see that on the talent. I personally would like to see Breath of Sindy go away, but I know some people love Breath of Sindy playstyle, so I'm not gonna hate on that. I just wish that it wasn't the best way to play. Overall, I think Frost is in a really good spot gameplay-wise. Again, gameplay-wise. And this is kind of like a wrap-up sort of rant here at the end of the video, but a lot of people seem to be picking their mains or talking about their mains in Shadowlands based upon damage numbers or based upon how strong they are or how meta they are. I don't think that that's a good idea. I've never thought that that was a good idea. If I was to pick Frost Death Knight because it's really strong right now, I would be doing myself a disservice, and I think most players would also. I think the best way to choose a class is play the class, test it, try it out, watch some videos on it, see the way that it's played, and then decide whether or not you like it. That's it. Is it fun to play? Because if you're playing a mage or a DK or whatever, or a Havoc Demon Hunter, just because it's strong, as soon as it gets nerfed, you're not going to have fun anymore. You should play the spec you want to play because it's fun, because you identify it with it in some way, because you're passionate about it, because it excites you. You're playing World of Warcraft to have fun. Even if you're on the performance end of things like I am, we have two characters that are required for my raid group. Okay, so I'm picking the two characters that I find most fun. And yeah, I have to think about raid utility and I have to think about performance. But Marksman Hunter is really strong, and Beast Mastery Hunter is really strong on live right now. But I don't like them, and I'm not going to play them. They're awful to me. I don't like them personally. I think that they're boring. Now, other people seem to really like it. Roger Brown's played a Hunter forever. He probably enjoys Hunter, at least a little bit. Maybe not. But that's it, guys. I just wanted to leave you guys with that because for me, I think a lot of folks that I've been seeing when I make these videos are concerned about the performance, and that can change in a patch. There's my 10 cents. Again, I do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on Twitch. I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I appreciate all the comments. You guys have been amazing. I have like 65 new subscribers or something in the last 3 weeks. I can't thank you guys enough for subscribing to the channel, so thank you. You guys are amazing. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one.